There are 4 Sundays of Advent, and there are 3 liturgical cycles. And 4 times 3 makes 12 sets of readings for Advent. And of all those 12, this is the one I find most confusing. Advent is supposed to be a season of preparation, or so we've been told. But today's gospel doesn't seem to fit that. So you too must be prepared, we are told, for at an hour you do not expect, the Son of Man will come. What is this hour that we do not expect? We know what we're preparing for. December 25th. Angels singing to shepherds in the field. And if you go on the Jerusalem pilgrimage next year, you'll see that field. Stars shining brightly in the night sky, leading wise men from the east to find a couple in Bethlehem with a child in a manger. We know that it happened around the time of Caesar Augustus, when he ordered a census of the whole world, when Quirinius was governor of Syria. We know what we are preparing for. The malls have been telling us for weeks. The first Christmas jingle I heard was back in September, believe it or not, at a Walgreens in Claremont. So if anything, we know too much about what we are waiting for, what we are preparing, that we've added all sorts of things to the celebration. There are trees, there are ornaments, there are stockings, there are reindeer, there's a man in a red suit with a white beard, there's a snowman who comes to life, elves and mistletoe, and so on. I Googled the term Christmas things, and the first thing that popped up was Christmas, parentheses, secular vocabulary word list. You can do it, but not now. You can do it later. Not a mention of Jesus, but a lot of other joyful things. In the church, however, it's a time of preparation that is done very simply. We light candles in a wreath. We mark the passage of time as people have been doing so for ages. As candles grow shorter and burn, the new ones get lit every week. Time moves on as we get closer to the appointed hour. We mark the passing of time. There's no decorations in the church. There's a shift in tone for our music. The colors change to rich purples, and a new cycle in the liturgical year begins. We know what we are waiting for. We are waiting for the coming of the Christ child. And yet this confusing gospel about the end times, about the second coming, we are waiting for something that already happened, and yet we are told to wait for something that is yet to come. So we're in a both and kind of time. God is coming, and we prepare for what was. At the same time, we are preparing for what will be. We know a bit of who God is, and have gotten a glimpse of the great love of which God is capable, becoming one of us, living and feeling and suffering and rejoicing like one of us, and dying for us like one of us. A God who keeps promises, a God who was born vulnerable and helpless. This is the God we prepare for every year at Advent. And yet we wait, and we also prepare for that same God to come again, because that is the ultimate fulfillment of the most fundamental promise. Because there was a resurrection, there will be a return. Because there was a resurrection, there will be something more. Because there was a resurrection, there is salvation. And that is ultimately what we're all here for. None of which is possible without the coming of the Christ child. Advent is intricately linked with the end times today, because without one, we don't have the other. Without the birth of Jesus, we don't have the passion, death, and resurrection. And without the resurrection, we don't have the second coming that fulfills the promise of salvation. And so we prepare. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. Therefore, stay awake, for you do not know on which day your Lord will come. And Paul says it's imminent, for our salvation is nearer now than when we first believe. The night is advanced and the day is at hand. And in God's time, it probably is. For who knows how God measures time? But the point is to be ready and to have open hearts, ready to receive the Lord. And when that time comes, it will be a time of great joy. They shall beat their swords into plowshares, their spears into pruning hooks. One nation shall not raise the sword against the other, nor shall they train for war again. O house of Jacob, come, let us walk in the light of the Lord. Walking in the light of the Lord. That's a great image as the Advent candles light our way of preparation. Walk in the light of the Lord, but not just yet. Today we wait. Today we prepare. And today we keep our hearts open.